Freetown City Council, as they for talk about different things that we don't they happen now FCC after the election. Mr. Kallay, now let's look at the issue we get for do with tax, because we know say now some of them money they carry out the day-to-day activity of the Freetown City Council. Take we through our tax collection so far done town for na FCC.
Well, say taxation everywhere is a challenging issue. So, as a council, you have to make sure we are very much proactive and try to improve on the sensitization of the community, and also for deliver on certain critical services where people they say we go for justify some of them payments, and they make like what I tell how much effort we don't put in terms of sanitation, and it's relatively they say a very clean city. Then they will not see any major incidents of flooding. All land they show say really will try. Of course, we clean back the markets, right? So all of them seeing and issues are very much important to the taxpayers. We try for clean some of the major cemeteries as well within the municipality. All of this is justified some of the tax payment they did. But then also, if you look at the tax compliance, it has not been really very much, not too different from the previous years, right? So what we really this guy for do, for make sure say, I don't put out even some public notice that people have to comply, because September 30th is the deadline. After that, we're going to full enforcement. So now therefore see the chief administrator with the team in the streets to make sure say they knock on doors, businesses for people and try for pay taxes. Because this is only how we can for continue for deliver services. I mean, if you need for pay tax, you can't even, you need for demand transparency and accountability. So the first thing is to for try for make sure say you pay tax. Right? So like I say, we don't try with level best. And really, of course, we for pay with lights bill, we for make sure say we clean the city, we for make sure say the facilities is well, Freetown City Council as a facility is well maintained, but we need for do more. Right, because as the year they progress, because even like the way we plan for do, there's one critical area will be so the address, one for address, one of the public toilets, and because I don't right now not get money. I said in that part of that we plan was for insurance we do public toilets like Calbato Market, you don't get toilets right now. Bombay Street Market is in a very bad shape. The same for Lumley Market, Black Tank, and even how they call it Hagan Street, where they go the largest market dues. But we don't forget the toilets that they don't because we cash constraint right now. But if that tax revenue for coming, they go for make sure say we service some of the activity there.
All right, so take me to the different taxes where citizens or people that we own businesses for pay.
Well, if you own businesses, we categorize our own business license. If for instance, if you run a law firm, it's supposed to pay for that office, right? For as long as a business is established, you will pay for that one day. If you get a mining company, you're supposed to pay, you understand, to business license to Freetown City Council. If you get shop, you're supposed to pay. If you're a mobile company, you have to pay. Right? So there's a whole host of businesses. For as long as a business will fall within this municipality, you're supposed to pay business license for one day.
So waiting at the amount of mining company that we just mentioned, people that we get shop, waiting at the different fee then?
Well, we get different fees. We get like the mining companies are now like the class as class A businesses. They get the fees. I can't give you offer here now. Then we get to the class B, right? So they fall so you get the class A construction companies. Them we know how much they pay. Then if you get to small shop, if it's up to get small shop and a 500,000, so I go pay. We don't charge that too much. Right? It's even that one they say. I mean, for whole year and small money that one day. But we understand, you understand the challenge you put in terms of the businesses. So really, we get several categories. You understand based upon really how your business is established.
So, what do you make you think say the issue of tax may not be too friendly according to you? Why you think say certain people not to they comply in that area?
If not to we are no more. I mean, right across the world, taxation is a contentious issue. Nobody want for pay tax. You don't know this country, you don't really distribute by where it's say they pay local tax. What tax for? Right? So people know we just want for pay tax. But the person they say, why do you have to pay? You understand? If you income tax, for example, by salary, if not to tell you the cut from source, most people choose not for pay anything in the day. Right? So it's difficult for people and just part with money. That's the reality. So that make the first thing for the deliver services where people they say try for convincing indeed when I do something. That make me like I say one of the hallmark of Freetown City Council, real information sanitation we improve on it. And we've done that to a very large extent.
So how does it speak back that the effect if majority fail for comply on tax payment?
Well, like I tell you, if you look at records, it's difficult for we even exceed, like property rate, for instance, one of our major source of revenue, we've not been able to generate up to 50%. Even with the new system we may introduce, we have not been able. So it's really challenging, right? So, like I say, we get for go out. I don't say by next month, check me out. I'll make sure 98% and they do me at the field and see how we go out for make sure so we do enforcement. But I take frankly say, inside this transition, the bailiff departments, they don't perform extremely well. Because if you look at the books and all, with that they just go out and make sure they enforce, they don't get up to 1.5 billion going above. So all under improvement, right? So we've not done that in previous time. So there's determination from the staff them that be doing extremely well in terms of in terms of revenue mobilization, in terms of sanitation, and all other activities related to the council. So the spirit is there. We will continue with that kind of spirit. And
all right, you mentioned saying the 30 when they start full enforcement of the law. What did the law say of people we not agree for pay tax?
Well, we get different penalties, right? If now, for example, if property is not agree for pay, then if you get movable property, right? After we don't go give money, bailiff don't go, they don't want you, it's senior for comply. If it gets movable property, then the council get credit for taker, for seller, for as long as that amount is equivalent to you would say tax obligations. If it gets stores, okay, we could choose for shut down some of the stores and or get some seal. Right, so the show says so far you're not even for compliance, but like for business license to a very large extent, we really get compliance. Now property rate are really challenging, right? So really focus for this time around that property rate to go after, and we're sure we'll go for succeed.
Will they bring in somebody we come out from the National Commission for Children, Winner Leo Watkins, Harrison? We can talk about a report where they do a study on children and violence in Sierra Leone. You don't talk about how they do a different mandate. Now we come to this particular report. In any report, there must be a reason or something we go trigger waiting really on a look at. We make the National Commission for Children in partnership with World Vision International Sierra Leone decide for the report on picking them in violence.
Okay. First off, I want to also use this medium on behalf of the National Commission for Children for thank you to World Vision Sierra Leone for the tremendous and enormous support with regards to this activity. Now, the waiting trigger this report. We don't realize as a commission, we don't get complaints because, like I say, we also receive complaints. People can call because they know say they exist. Hey, commission, now this they happen, now this they happen. So we don't get complaint from partners, from the general public, and we self don't they see because one thing where we monitor very strongly in the social media. So we self don't they see how we get social media complaints them or issues them where they surround picking them. And physically again, we don't they see how the youth then don't they be involved in so much violent tendencies. And we see as not immediate recently, but we see even last year, the August 10. It's been so sad that at the end of the day, they may arrest, even picking them, police may get calls for arrest, picking them, where they may take to CID way. Of course, the commission may get for intervene and engage with the police for see how best they can release them, picking and all of them were released, none of them were charged to court. So that's a plus for us because we aim for engage them and also sensitize the picking for understand say they should not be involved in that. So putting all of those together, and I make we realize, yes, we take 20 years back, we've been get the rebel war, and we don't want to foresee a repetition of that kind of history in the country, wherein we don't observe now say the youth they don't go on the rampage, the youth they don't even just in September we will also get one where they talk about some demonstration where, if not for the timely intervention of the police, we will also see similar thing because we hear about some small incidences. So it's okay. And then during the elections, we see videos. We have been there among the crowd. Sometimes we go among the crowd just for understand what they happen. Then political rallies and just for see what they happen. And if picking and they be involved in the electioneering process and election rallies, and so we realize, no, we just can't sit because the picking and then get the future for the country tomorrow. We can't sit them and just they look at them and as if we don't understand, and then involved in so much violent acts and tendencies. So what thing we decide is let's engage with our partners, and World Vision was very gracious for accommodate we, and we come hang heads together and say let we understand. One, the root cause of picking involvement in violence, waiting that the violent tendencies when they manifest, and how we can profile plausible solutions or recommendations for ensure say them PK are able to take them off from violence. So basically that's trigger we for look at this report.
All right. You mentioned say the report basically focus about the root cause of picking them involved into violence. So within this report, Fenot say within are some of the causes where they make picking them involved into violence.
So one of it will seem weird, but one of the key findings that we will receive are the fact say you get picking them way because of outside and tap, outside and they live either with their parents or not. So let's just quote something.
Meaning the community.
Yeah. So let's just quote the statistics from the report. It tell you saying for the picking where they live with their parents of the picking where we engage over 500 picking in all of them districts here, like I say. For the picking where they live with their parents, 35% of them now then confirm say they know about violence or they involved in violence. Whereas the one the way no they live with them parents them where they out and also they out of school. You see 5% of them of the one the way they out of school. And then waiting most triggering the one the way they live with others, where on them paddy or waiting 40% of them involved in violence. So you look at them and see say the one the way they actually live with their parents, then get the less tendencies because of that upbringing, that home care for being involved in violence. You also see the gangs and cliques. You know, once we come out, among the beginning, they all on they turn themselves to camp. All man want and notoriously, even though it don't seem for they die down a bit, but we get this Black Leo RFM thing where they all want to associate with. Now me group down there. Now we get this area. Now we get this space. Not intrude into we space. So all of that, you see them as a result of them things. Then they and interest you for no say the girl picking them. Some of the girl picking them just because they don't go get this bobo as a boyfriend. The bobo belong to the clique or to the gang. Himself definitely it don't turn 995 way in West now. So himself definitely don't automatically by association he don't turn a gang member. And then imagine for supremacy within the gang, the picking you will get mine past your company. Right. You will get mine chook, you will get mine fet, now you go be the 5-0. So all of them things then they make them picking they really they want for push. And more importantly, you see the issue of drugs.
All right. We come back to that, Mr. Harrison. We look at the 8 districts them we these reports targets and self the drugs we picking and young people and don't involve back the root cause of some of the violence and one thing we mentioned get for do with drugs. So this report able capture the way how picking them don't involve into drug recently.
Yes, it's sad. It's sad that we picking them as young as they are. 12, 11, 15 years of age, don't be involved in so much drug intake. And for we try for even understand whose kind of drugs they take. And number one among them all, now this kush, where we all on the talk about and the hear about, beginning involving kush, in marijuana, then get drugs that we will know even that the first step is strange to we follow we read the name and they like bottle green, blue boats, and Kumbejara, of course, heroin, and then take formalin. Imagine formalin where the medical people and they use for diamond, we pick in and they ingest them. And one way I can normally say is so appalling, but enough for left me mind it now. One of the districts where the picking and tell we say, then they use human feces, then they dry them. I don't know what kind of concoction and they do, but then they dry human feces and they wrap them and smoke them. Imagine how deteriorating the mind of we young Pekin and Nombi. So the Pekin they're involved in so much drug intake, and now that's now one of the prominent factors the way they make the Pekin and it becomes so violent because of course once somebody don't ingest anything and they don't even know in with about himself again. So just go behave as and when he feel like and misbehave in the society.
All right, so the districts them way now about 8 way this report capture, they all get these similar challenges or unable to get different type of challenges from them?
They all not get similar challenges. You get some way, of course, get similar challenges where you go say, okay, and then they especially for the urban settlements, we normally refer to as the bigger districts them. Because when you look like place like Falaba, for example, they're not from all indications, all the one that we engage, so we say they're violence free. So if we get an award, we go say Falaba na the most violence free district in the country because, but again, we realize it also get for do with the accessibility because Falaba is more difficult to access. We realize it's difficult for making them transport them violent tendencies and acts then they go na such district. But the bigger districts like take Kono for example, where you get universities, you hear it from the beginning that even the university students they come down to the level and can engage them for campaign them for see how themselves can be involved in them cliques and gangs there. And you like for example, one of the indicators, one of the indices we'll look at now, the picking and knowledge for where how much they know about their family and friends that we involved in cliques and gangs. You realize saying Western rural, all the picking them where they out of school where we engage, 100% of them say they get either a friend or a family member we involved in clique and gang. Unlike like Pujong, where this same number I will say is just about 50%. So look like Bond where now a far off district a bit, so we say then just about 35.7%. So you see even for the picking the way they in school, Bond you record 18%. Whereas like Western urban and Western rural, 81% respectively for them too. So you see, say, the thing they play, the way how they manifest violence and the findings and everything they play, dependent on also the geographical location. So basically, that is it. And one thing where I really want for mention are the methodology where we use in this. We might have skipped it a bit, but I want to really mention for. Because one go sit there home and they say, but maybe then just go talk to 5-10 Pikine and then they say, then call. We spoke to over 480 children, just children alone, in all of these districts. Pikine, where they go school, we spoke to 144 of them. Pikine, where they out of school, 126. And that is notwithstanding the other people who we talk to. We spoke to ONS, we spoke to police, we spoke to the bike and the keke riders. We go to them, pack them, talk to them, pack about the way they load them, to car them. We spoke to market women, them, teachers, them, different categories of people. So putting all of this together, I can tell you for sure, say, we spoke to nearly 1,000 people. Make way for get them findings there. So it's rich because it really encompassing.
All right, continue for the way to inside the program. We'll come back, we'll go look into the recommendation then within inside this report as we for tap some of the issues then we're picking again at the country. The program now Good Morning Saloon. We come to you live from Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Still inside the studios, we get the Chief Administrator of Freetown City Council, Festus Kallay. But before we go for that break, we need to talk about things that we get for do with tax. And one challenge we people with the pay tax don't they mention, especially market women there, now that the tax we then they pay to Freetown City Council, they know the city reflects now in different markets there in terms of cleaning and the rest.
That's not true. Now 1,000 loans market women they pay for market use.
For day?
For day. Right? Every day we get trucks then where they visit each and every market for make sure they clean and dirty and take on a dump site. If you calculate the cost of the one day, because the entire market use budget was like 1.7 to 1.8 billion for the whole year. If you imagine the dirty they come on this side for one market and they way exceed how much you collect as revenue. In other words, you oversubscribe with the come on the market collection. You not stop, they'll get other responsibilities, just like what I tell you, for make sure they will do toilets for them various markets. All that they get for come out from other areas of fund because you know see this are with people there. So the issue of sanitation, going along, for example, that being a flop every day, if you despite the fact that we can get challenged, we skip trucks in, and they make sure I deploy my man and the whole net to the work, or just clean that dirty in other places, and for me to up the other door clean. So really, we have been very much proactive because we know, of course, the markets are all sickness they come out. So we're passionate about that thing and with the cleaning market to consume the. Of course, sometimes we can get financial challenge, but to say what thing they pay, the 1,000 and so they pay. When they get anything in return as services, that's just not true.
So one of the people see pop up of late now the issue of the body them with the street. How council on the address this particular issue for ensure say then get information on time, take the body off the street, and do the needful.
Yeah, well, basically, this is a very serious challenge, right? And I know say most of it drug related, because if you look at the statistics for this year, we don't buy about 50 poppers then for this year, right? This is very much unprecedented. Even yesterday, I do holiday, I do the family, I get a call from the LUC alumni, somebody that is said by 1,000 points in, and then bobody went into the push business. So I get for left me ambulance for camp for clear them. So on day they requested to come for popper the past 4-5 per day, right? So it's really very serious. This is very serious, very challenging. But then, like you said, the thing we make sure we do as a council, we get a standby ambulance, we get to PPEs them, we get the cemetery. And of course, we work closely with other health-related organizations, Ministry of Health, and see how we can move for consent listing. But it goes beyond that. Really, as a government, really get for do more or make sure say we curtail this kind of substance abuse. Because people are dying, the youth are really dying, and we get the effect of them. Because really how they bury the man and the way they die them over there.
Okay, well, in name now Festus Kallay, the Chief Administrator of the Freetown City Council. I don't give update, but our council only operate since the election done. The program, Good Morning Salon, they continue inside the program now. Now time for listen to Daddy Walkabout.
Another morning again. I say, toss the man. I say, toss the. I say, after the holiday. I say back to base. I say now they move around the city, this all the man, and I glad for say I dey drive in peace, I dey walk in peace, I dey friend not in peace. But one thing what it good, I say the country been clean. I think that's what the country fine for watchman. Now they say, I say beautiful country. I say if all man forget about in tribe and party business and come clean. I think that's how the country go sweet man. I say if we all left for the bad much we comping. No one see you comping go before. Get that jealous spirit. I say, what move land, I say go money, no, I say go money, I say how you do bad. I say, before you they come, I say I be non pile for you lots of things then why I want let you take action from. You know this thing where then they call constitutional amendment of white paper. That's your eye. Boy, you know, boy, who say justice belle been there. I say, we been organize that report today, we don't make them, we don't organize them. Now white paper for commodity, but me, I don't wait for that white paper. They say, now safe, now green chef. Let them send her now. Because all of us saw that, I they see, who that they tell me, say, you know, that man, they, you know, been done, oh, or that man, they them been done, see, you know. Now they say, I say, who say this updating day? I the friend number I no get. Now say, I go ask go. Now say go. I say again. I say this thing I want to call feed salon. I say, we all agree. I say, but if it be say we need for feed, I say charity begins at home. I say, do ya? There you minister, director, them will be let all man get your small little farm. I say, from who talk they like a joke. Now they left man. I say, some man be the go posing a people farm, take picture. Some man no shall be plant grass. I swear, but God is them. I want you pay attention, oh. I want you pay attention, yanda. I say, Bobo for remote, I say, Kusho. The acting minority leader, they take me time. That don't mistake. Any right now, chef, I want bet strong. I say something and they wake me up in a good to you, man, a good to you. I say, Bobo for a month, I say, this go na in CV, man. You don't act as minority leader, a leader of the opposition. Anyway, you call a man, you don't go there. In fact, I listen how because of how he perform. Na the UN, I say the conference, I say, and CPA party then they and then they explain. Committee of discipline, committee of aid, committee of what yanda. Now they say, who go land? Me, na the honorable Wakabo.
Well, from Wakabot, the program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and this time we bring in Leone Watkins, REC, Monitoring and Evaluation Officer, National Commission for Children. We therefore talk about a report within the 8 districts, but speaking and violence. Normally, in all reports, we get key recommendation them, we can make, and also present to partner them for implementation. In this particular report, we know some of the key recommendation they want to believe say if implemented will address some of the challenges with the amount picking them.
Okay, so basically for how we work, one of the mantra we use is you can't work for the picking them without the picking them. So that is why we be involved them squarely in the assessment, in the research. And so even with the recommendations, we try for allow them for profile their own recommendations, and then we self look at them and see how best. So one of the key recommendations now the fact saying community is not a serve as role model, so we want community role modeling, and you know traditionally most of we being small. If they do bad na street theft, one uncle they pass, they can whip you 1-2 na your waist and say go home. Or by the time you see one uncle or auntie self, you know, say this, by the time they go let me complain house. Now problem for me. But now you get community, not to me picking late Friday, it not concern me. So we want for see how that culture they can be restored. And so we recommend that we aim for get community modeling structures. You know, we get the CWC, the Child Welfare Committee, we get other structures them. So we want for see how them structures and they can able for really taking. And another again the aspect of positive parenting, because we realize a lot of we people them as a result of many other factors they born them picking them, but they know for really take care of the picking them in terms of parenting them. And we want for ensure we work with Ministry of Social Welfare on that, because Ministry of Social Welfare and they lead on the whole aspect of positive parenting. We work with them on that for see how we can able for get this positive parenting way. Parents go understand the whole concept of child right, just as I be mentioned, and understand the positive values we for instill in Peking, and see how best we all can work together as a nation. And we also, one thing we come out from the reports where we also now they recommend that the child justice sector, the diversion framework be strongly considered, because it's clear that once you don't take one small Peking, because it become violent and you incarcerate them, we can normally say you don't build a life hardcore criminal, because when you don't go, you don't do another incarceration day, and you never forget anything way for rehabilitate them. When it come out, all you know now is like you don't go structure them to become violent and all. So we want to look at how the diversion framework can really work out well, and see even for more sensitization and awareness raising on these issues. And we also one of the recommendations now for look at we now get school clubs, school non-violence clubs, but we want for as much as we expand them, as much as we hope for make it be expanded, but also we recommend that it be created within the communities. So we get not only school violence, non-violence clubs, but community non-violence clubs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's next after this report? Other than on a partner they want to get for engage or present a report here too?
So we already don't start the engagement. Just on Tuesday, we officially hand over this report to the Ministry of Gender and Children Affairs, and we also been get partners. Then the way we present the findings to them. Just yesterday night, Street Child, for example, engage me and that they are interested and make we see them and look at them. And of course, we partner World Vision, we support we on this. We also they continue engagement. Let we all see how best we can act on the findings from this report.
Okay. Thank you for joining me inside the program this morning. In name na Louis Watkins Harrison, in the monitoring and evaluation officer and the National Commission for Children. As there this morning for talk about our report with Poland safe happenings na the Children's Commission. I'll go over to you, Festus Kallay, Chief Administrator. Before you go, I will not ask you this question. We all aware, say, the political head, we are the mayor, presently, not the occupying seat. So in any way, influences don't the Hamburg on our work?
Well, frankly, this is a strange kind of scenario. Before now, if the normal circumstance, we don't complete the development plan, we don't start to put critical activities in place, right, for make sure so we continue for stabilize the city. But for now, in your absence, in any case, it creates gap, right? Because there are certain things we can't do because it requires policy decision, right? It requires the politicians' own decision, right? So we can't take those decisions in the absence. So we feel the absence with the canteen and
on I can talk.
Well, I congratulate her we win and not respond, So I require me council the time for do what's really important for do.
So now on council work, normally any one can get it on the project for collect, and for this year, 51 billion on the project. In achieving this, how far on you foresee something way possible?
Well, we're not go for achieve 100% of this. It's not easy for achieve that kind of year, right? But like I say, we really they try at least go for each because the whole idea is if we project like 100%, we target yourself is 70% of the 100% of a collector. That is what we are targeting. We work very closely for achieving that kind of thing. And I know coming out of this studio, really, I not commend, the staff in our Freetown City Council for a job well done within the course of this transition. And of course, for Tess thank you. At least he called me yesterday for Lakana for car talk about that kind of thing. I don't know say they can ask me question about that dog. But really going forward, I really appreciate this moment and I hope so continue to get that kind of engagement.
Are you ready for continuing for BCA and do the mandates?
Why not? Why
Council? Okay.
Yes.
Plenty thank you to you. Name na Festus Kallay, Chief Administrator at the Freetown City Council. We don't can talk about the operation of council since the election and other thing they don't do for push council and will go before. We get also Louis Watkins Harrison, Monitoring and Evaluation Officer, National Commission for Children. We can talk about a report we didn't do on children and violence. Now it's this kid. Plenty thank you to all too. And I'll be with guest inside the program. Good morning, Salon this morning.